Yo, what is up YouTube? James Baek here. Welcome back to another episode of VGC 2019 Baek Battles. To date, we are using the Rayquaza Solgaleo team, the team that Hirofumi used to win the 2019 Japan National Championship. Let's get started and play some games. We've had a pretty good experience with this team overall. I think we haven't dropped a game with this team if I'm not mistaken yet, and that is pretty impressive. We're in the span of what, 4 to 5 episodes right now. It's been pretty good so far, so let's see if we can keep up that momentum. But this team has been doing a lot better than I thought it would. It's doing pretty well in general. I think Gastron has really impressed me. I think that's one of the things that has most impressed me about this team so far. Even though it's taken a lot more damage than I anticipated, it's a lot failer than I imagined. It's actually put in a ton of work. It's had some pretty decent matchups against teams we've encountered. So yeah, even though it's been, I think, been about a little less than 2 months, it's still putting in the work. So yeah, of course we do have to watch out for some of the tougher matchups. That includes probably opposing Solgaleo. It's actually kind of annoying for this team. Team doesn't like opposing Solgaleo, doesn't like Lunala too much because Lunala can get a little bit scary. So can Necroz with Dawn Wings. So can quite a few other factors. But this team has been performing pretty well so far, and I hope that can continue to show up because it has been putting in quite the work. But yeah, only time will tell. We can face some difficult matchups, which is definitely possible. But I think this team does have ways to get around it if we play right. But we got Luigi as our first opponent from Germany, 1693 rating, with the standard X-Ray comp with Kartana this time, with the Rayquaza, Xerneas, Kartana, Incineroar, Nihilego, and Tapu Fini. You know what's really good here? Solgaleo. Let me say, Solgaleo puts in a ton of work against my opponent's team. My opponent doesn't exactly have the best answers to the Solgaleo at all. Like, tell me what my opponent has for it. Not really much. Rayquaza and Incineroar are the best ways to handle it. The Fini can be annoying, though. That's for sure. I definitely want to bring Solgaleo plus Incineroar. I want to say Fini for sure, and I'm guessing Ray here. I think Gastron can put in work, but I just don't see like myself needing it. Like, I don't need it to redirect Scalds. Damage wise, it can hit like maybe 3 Pokemon really hard, 4 potentially, but I feel like it's not worth it. I think I'm gonna lead Solgaleo plus Incin, which is pretty strong against my opponent. I don't think my opponent has like a solid counter to that, with Rayquaza plus Fini in the back. I think overall, there's not really much of a game plan. We can just play really direct. We could get Trick 'em Up with our Solgaleo, but I think the main thing is just, you know, just to get Solgaleo in good positions. Solgaleo is going to be the key member against my opponent's team, and yeah, that's definitely what we're going to have to focus on and protect, especially with the Heal Pulse and Intimidate rotations. So Solgaleo plus Incin. I don't know what my opponent's really going to lead here. It's going to be the Kartana Rayquaza. Yeah, not bad at all. Especially if this is Assault Vest Ray, I could probably just go for a Sunsteel Strike right off the bat into Rayquaza. I'm not really that worried about Kartana right now. And yeah, most of these Rayquazas tend to be Assault Vests, so I can go for the Sunsteel Strike and Fake Out because my opponent doesn't have a switch in. Kartana's actually the best switch in. The second best switch in would be Incin, but that puts Incin in range of my superpower, so I think that's a fine play for me. So I think I'm just gonna Fake Out because like the worst Kartana can do Tailwind, Knock Off if it has it, but that doesn't do too much. Sacred Sword, but that's 3 KO after Intimidate. But yeah, we're gonna see the Rayquaza switch out. Incineroar is gonna come out. I don't mind that because I feel like that's just a free switch back into my Rayquaza. So I don't think that's a bad thing for me at all. We'll see what this Kartana does though, if it has any tricks up its sleeve. Swords Dance would be terrible, but you don't really see Swords Dance Rayquaza in the format. A Z-move going to come out. All out pummeling? It is all out pummeling. Okay. So that changes things, but I don't think it's too bad for us at all. Like, I really don't. Like, sure, Incin's going to go down, which obviously isn't the best case scenario, but I don't think it's like the worst case scenario in any means necessary. Because Kartana's just not doing much to my team in general. But yeah, maybe I could have switched out Incin here. I could have went down to my Ray. Definitely could have been a play, but I did not want Solgaleo to take too much damage right off the bat. Kartana's attack is going to rise. We will get a Sunsteel Strike off. This should put in range of Superpower. The question is, what do I do afterward? I wonder if Earth Power from Ray knocks out the Kartana. That's definitely a thing I do want to consider. I think I'm just going to go into Ray here because I can't go Fini here. Fini is threatened by the Leaf Blade. So I'll go Ray here. I think I'm just going to go for the Sunsteel Strike into the Incineroar and an Earth Power because the two things I see Incineroar doing are faking out or hard switching into Rayquaza trying to bait a superpower. So I think my play is just to go for the Sunsteel Strike. The question is, what do I want to do with my Rayquaza? I think I just want to go for the Mega Evolution Earth Power right off the bat because I think Earth Power is a fine play into the Kartana. I really do think Incineroar does want to switch out here. I don't think it really wants to fake out because I don't think fake out gets momentum, but it looks like my opponent going to stay in, which isn't too bad for me because Sunsteel Strike's still going to do a decent amount to my opponent. So we'll see what my opponent decides to do. Well, Mega Evolve here, and I'm guessing it's just fake out, but I don't know what you're doing otherwise. So yeah, it's a fake out. Parting down to Solgaleo, okay. I just don't see what that accomplishes because I get a Earth Power off into Kartana. I don't knock it out, but I do some damage. Now I'm going to come out, not a big deal, I think, because most Incineroar just don't outspeed Rayquaza, and I don't think that's really helpful for my opponent because I can Trick Room right here. I just don't see what stops me from Trick Rooming. And since I'm not intimidated with my Rayquaza, I can go for the Dragonite into the Incineroar. Again, Kartana was never really that big of a threat. So I think I'm just going to go for the Dragonite into the Incineroar slot and try to do as much damage as possible. So, yeah, I just don't see what my opponent's really trying to do momentum-wise, because I don't see any momentum. If Incineroar switches out, it just takes a lot from the Dragonite, which is what I'm going for. Kartana just doesn't do anything on the field. It KO'd my Incin, sure, but it just isn't doing anything afterward. The Kartana is going to be the one to retreat here, going to be the Xerneas, which is completely fine. I kind of hope my opponent gives me the Incineroar because that is probably the biggest threat on my opponent's team actually to me. Which I think my opponent did. Unless Dragonite doesn't KO, but I'm pretty sure it should. Like, I'd be surprised if it didn't. Yeah, it knocks out the Incin. So I'm in a really good spot right now. I got rid of the Incin, which is great. So Incin goes down. Awesome. And now I just got Trick Room up, and my opponent went for Tailwind. So, yeah, there isn't really much. And you're forced to bring in Ray here, because if you bring in the Kartana, it just goes down to my Dragonite. So, really, there's not much my opponent can do here. Yeah, because Rayquaza is forced to come out. I can go for the Z move into the Rayquaza slot. Yeah, I can just Z move the Rayquaza slot. I just don't see. Maybe my opponent's going to try to bait, switch out Rayquaza into the Kartana, so it baits off my Z move, but I think then I could just go Fini here, and I think I will go Fini here, because I just don't see a reason not to go Fini. What Fini does here is allows me to get a light screen off potentially, but what it mainly does is allow me to punish the Kartana switch, because I can Nature's Madness into the Rayquaza, and Sunsteel Strike if the Kartana is sacked here. Okay, it just looks like it's Mega Evolving. I don't think Rayquaza lives the Z move, though. I don't think it does. Like, I'm very confident it doesn't, but we'll see here. Either way, as long as we're able to knock out the Rayquaza, we should be fine. Xerneas even going to protect, too, so that's excellent for me. That's not even a Geomancy going off, which is perfect here. And, yeah, the Z move does come out. Should target Ray, should be able to pick up a knockout, and yeah, this is looking really bad for my opponent, because if this is a one-hit KO, which should be, because most of the Rayquazas do run Hasty now, and even if it's not Hasty, it would need a lot of bulk to live the Z move. It's like 2 Sunsteel Strikes. That's not a joke, so let's see. And if this is knockout, I'm pretty sure that's game. I could light screen up, I can Nature's Madness. Like, there's so many things I can do. Yeah. So, let's see. I wonder if Scald would knock out the Kartana. I don't think it would, but it might come close. Yeah, knock out the Ray. The Ray goes down, and now Kartana is left on the field with Xerneas, and just can't touch my Solgaleo. Realistically, I could just target down the Xerneas here with Scald plus Sunsteel Strike, because that should be able to pick up the knockout. Yeah, because I feel like that's probably the play, I'm assuming. Let me see how many times of Trick Room are left. I mean, it doesn't even matter, right? Yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna go for Skull and Sunsteel Strike. I think, yeah, even if Xerneas got Double Protect, Kartana can go for what? A Leaf Blade, a Sacred Sword. It's not doing too much. Sure, maybe it does a lot of damage to Fini or knocks it out, but like, that means if it does knock out, I get to bring in my Rayquaza, which then I could proceed to like Superpower into Dragon Sand into Sunsteel Strike. So I think I'm completely okay in that regard anyway. But no matter what, there just wasn't much my opponent I think could do after that, because like no matter what, I felt like my opponent lost to endgame Rayquaza plus my Solgaleo still at decent HP regardless. Like I don't think there was like really any play that was able to capitalize without maybe some critical hits. But even with critical hits, I don't even think that would like change anything. Once on Steel Strike into Xerneas would probably just allow me to pick up the knockout into the Xerneas with extreme speed, and then Kartana is basically worthless. So we got Rue from the United Kingdom as our second opponent, 1780 rating, with the team Dual Primal. Oh, I think I know him. I think I know him actually. I'm pretty sure it's him. I'm pretty sure I know this person. I think it's Miaru, if I remember. Let's see. Bring back a really old team. You got Kangaskhan, Kyogre, Bronzong, Groudon, Whimsicott, plus Tapu Fini, an old dual primal matchup. Oh, this should be fun. Don't really see dual primal that much either, so really looking forward to this. Solgaleo's not that great. I'm thinking Rayquaza, Instant, Gastrodon, Fini is probably the way to go. I don't like my own Tapu Fini in this matchup. I don't like the Solgaleo in this matchup either, because it doesn't do any damage to the primals. It does really well against the other Pokemon, but it just doesn't do well otherwise. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out who I want to lead. I want to lead Instant for sure. The question is just with who. I think Instant Ray is probably really good here. So is Instant Gastro. Like, my opponent doesn't beat Gastro that well. I think I'm going to go Instant Ray though, because I want to Intimidate lead. And I think Rayquaza is just good because it just handles all the Pokemon on my opponent's side of the field. I definitely want Fini for the heal pulse option. It's also pretty good against dual primal in general. And Gastrodon definitely in the back. So we'll see how this goes. I think this matchup, it's interesting. I can't really say I have an advantage. I want to say it's either evenish or maybe I have the advantage. Kangaskhan's a little bit annoying because it can just do a lot of damage even with the -1 double edge. But we'll find out what happens here. So what is my opponent going to opt for? It's going to be my Incineroar and Rayquaza right here against the Kangaskhan Groudon. That works out. Okay. I don't really want to Mega Evolve. Yeah, Intimidate off, which is pretty good. Any fake outs is pretty worthless. I definitely want momentum. The question is, like, how do I want to catch the momentum? I'm thinking maybe just going to Fini is not a bad play here for the instant. I don't want to take too much damage, and like nothing really covers. Nothing on my opponent's side really wants to take a Nature's Madness or like does much damage to Fini, especially with the Intimidate factor. So I think I'm just gonna go Fini here. I think I do want a Mega Evolve though. I don't want to Dragon Sent the Kang yet because I just don't want to take too much damage. I think I'm just going to crunch the Kang, do some damage. It also covers the Bronzong switching. So we'll bring in Fini here. And yeah, this should be fine because I think what this allows me to do is, like, I threaten the Scald in the ground the following turn. So I can madness that slot, which is really good. And even if, let's say the Groudon stays in, protects, then the Groudon still threatens the following turn. If it, just attacks, then it's fine because then Earth Power should knock out the Groudon. So we'll see what my opponent decides to do here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fake out into the Rayquaza. And I don't know what you do with Groudon. You could set up here, I guess. It just depends on what you have. So let's see what my opponent decides to opt for. It's going to be the fake out, yep, into the Rayquaza. Yeah, because there's no reason you fake out the Incineroar slot. Precipice Blades. Okay, that won't do too much. Okay, nice. Yeah, that did nothing to Fini. We should live Double Edge plus Precipice Blades too. So I could either Heal Pulse or I can Madness. Both are pretty good because I get momentum either way. I'm thinking Madness is probably better here. And Crunch. Because I want chip damage into Kang for sure. And I want to put, if there's a Kyogre hard switch, I want to put it in range of Dragon Sand. Because I think that's going to be really good for me. So, and I don't want to lower my defenses yet. So I think I'm just going to go for the Crunch into Kang. Because there's not really good switching for Crunch. Again, if Bronzong decides to come in, I catch it with the Crunch, which is really good. We're going to see the Groudon retreat here. Kyogre? No, Tapu Koko, which is fine here because I do have a Gastrodon, which is actually great in the back. Gastrodon's actually decent in the back. Yeah, so I get a Crunch off. I would have preferred to Heal Pulse my Ray if the Tapu Koko was coming in, but I think it's still fine. Double Edge is going to come out, target down my Ray. Yeah, Heal Pulse was probably better. It's still not a bad position, though. Yeah, we hit the Madness, which is good. The question is, I don't know what you do afterward. I don't think Gleam would knock out Ray. There is a chance of a Z move coming out. I think I'm just gonna go double switch here though. Gastrodon and Incineroar doesn't seem like a bad play. Because if my opponent switches, it doesn't really matter too much here. If you're gonna Volt Switch, I think it would be the Fini slot. I guess maybe you could Volt Switch to Ray, but I'm not exactly too sure. But if you Volt Switch to Ray, good play. But if you try to Volt Switch my Fini on the Gastrodon coming in, I get pretty good momentum because the Koga's trapped. And even if the Kangaskhan switches out, it's fine too because I think I'm in a decent spot regardless. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a double edge coming onto the Ray slot and Volt Switch. But it could be a Gleam here too. Like it could be Gleam, which I'd be fine with because like that's not doing too much damage. And there's not really much of a switch in my opponent has for Earth Power, looks like. We're going to see the Kang retreat, though, into the Groudon, which is not good for me. Actually, it's questionable, because I think Earth Power is going to do a ton of work to the Groudon. Let's see. Bring in the Gastrodon. E-move. Strength attack, okay. I mean, that has to go in the Ray slot, right? I can't imagine this going out into what was the Fini slot. So at least I burned the Z move. It's not too bad, but it's not exactly the greatest position that I have. Incineroar gets chipped. Okay, yeah. Like at least Gastrodon didn't take too much because my opponent still has to double up the Gastrodon slot. So yeah, it's not too bad. I wonder if Earth Power would knock out this Groudon. I want to Earth Power the Koko slot for sure. And I think I actually want to go in a Ray here. Because I live a Gleam no matter what. So I can switch into Blaze. There's a chance my opponent double protects. Because I have Fake Out pressure. I just don't think he Blades immediately. I mean, there's a chance my opponent might. But would you really risk me going for Fake Out Earth Power and a Groudon and you taking so much damage? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I think it's a double protect coming out though. Koko gonna protect. Let's see if the Groudon protects as well. That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, perfect. So that's fine. That works out in my favor. Because I'll live Gleam. The only problem is I don't live Fire Punch. Which is fine. Surf actually does a good amount of work here, actually. The Groudon's not intimidated though, which is the problem. So I think I live one Gleam, which is pretty positive. I think I'm just gonna go for the Earth Power into Koko and just Earth Power into Groudon. I think that's fine actually, because I'm pretty confident I would live Gleam anyway. Gleam Blades. We're gonna see Kang here, which is fine. Let's see what the Koko goes for. I'm pretty sure it's Gleam. Yeah, it's Gleam, which is fine. Yeah, Ray survives, which is what I assumed. And if Groudon attacked there, it just took so much damage. So my opponent made the smart switch, but I think I'm still like getting the better end of this turn because I think Kang gets put into extreme speed range afterward. And once I get Fini in, ooh, that's going to be good for me. Yeah, the Kang's in extreme speed range. It even gets chipped by a double edge afterward. Groudon going to come out. It's interesting that Groudon's coming out, not Kyogre. That I find a bit odd, but it works out for me because I think Instant is not necessary anymore. I don't think Instant is necessary anymore. So I think I'm just gonna sack my Instant here to bring in Ray once again, because I could E-speed the Kang slot and Earth Power the Groudon slot. Because there's no switching my opponent has. So we'll bring in Instant. I think I'm playing the right game. I'm pretty sure that I have the game like what I want to. It just depends on if the Groudon has setup or not. Like, that's the big question. Does Groudon have setup? Fake Out gonna come out into the race slot, and I'm guessing it's just Blades. Unless you have a setup move, which you should have went for already. But it's gonna be another Blades, which is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Because Incineroar goes down, but like, now I get to bring in Ray, right? And Earth Power is doing so much to this Groudon. Earth Power is going to do a lot to this Groudon. So we bring in my Rayquaza. Oh, let's see. I guess like the one fear I have is like the Kang switching out and the Groudon going for offense. Into my Ray, knocking out. No, you can't knock out my Ray if you go Kyogre here, actually. Unless you have a rock move for some reason. So I think it's just better to Earth Power to Groudon and E-Speed. Because if you bring in the Kyogre here, you can't go for your fire move. Yeah, this works out fine. We're going to see the Groudon retreat, which is fine. Into the Kyogre. This is going to be a really weird endgame. Like, this is going to be a super weird endgame. The reason I think it's going to be a super weird endgame is I don't see how... Let's see. Because I'm going to knock out the Kang here. And then Kyogre can't go for water type attacks. It can only go for Ice Beam. Which makes it awkward for my opponent. Oh, it has Protect. That changes things. That changes things. Oh, why do you have Protect? Oh, that makes it interesting. I thought it was like standard Fake Out, Crunch, maybe Low Kick. That Earth Power also did nothing. Is the King intimidated? It is, okay. Ooh, that Protect changes so much. I didn't expect Protect on Kang. Good tech, though. I think I gotta switch out going to Fini. I think I gotta save Ray. I need one attack off with my Ray. If you double edge, that's fine. Because you're -1. You're not gonna do too much. Fini's gonna take Ice Beam or whatever the Kyogre really wants to throw at it. If it is like an Ice Beam that's coming out here. Let's see. Gonna be the double edge, so Kang's gonna knock itself out, which is good. I don't know if this... Oh, jeez, that did way more to Gashadon than I thought. I think that's over if you Ice Beam that slot too. Oh, thankfully that's not the case, but still. Earth Power into the Kyogre. Oh boy, this endgame got super tough. This endgame got super tough. Because I gotta figure out a way that I can deal with the Kyogre effectively. And I just don't think I have the tools. Because I don't think I can knock out Kyogre next to the Groudon. I think I had to I think I had to side Gashadon here. I think that's for sure. Because if I Protect, it doesn't even change anything in my opinion. I think I got an Earth Power and Madness. And then I have to call a 50-50 with my Ray. Like, that's how this game's gonna go. Precipice Blades. I think Phoenix should survive this, though. Yeah, okay, perfect. My opponent probably just doubled up the Gashadon slot with Ice Beam, I want to imagine. I could have switched out maybe Fini into the Ray, but that doesn't change anything. Scald, okay. Why Scald? You Ice Beam there, if anything. Like, I don't see what Scald accomplished. We go Ray here. This is where it gets super difficult. Because if I Dragon Send into Kyogre, then Fini should just win with Scald. But the problem is, if my opponent calls that and protects the Kyogre and Groudon attacks the Rayquaza, I just lose. I'm trying to figure out, is there I have to call whether the Kyogre protects or not. Because like I could Earth Power the Groudon maybe, and that gives me a shot. I don't think Groudon ever protects though. That's the thing. I don't think Groudon ever protects. If anything, Kyogre either protects or attacks, but the Groudon always doesn't. So I think maybe I could win with Madness plus screens. I'm gonna go for screen and Earth Power. Did my opponent read this? Oh my god, my opponent made, oh my lord. My opponent made every expectation of me fail. Dragon Sent the Kyogre won the game. Maybe I should just Dragon Sent it and Scalded. Screen was a bit greedy. I thought I would need extra HP though. I have to go for a Bladesmith now, if anything. Yeah, I have to go for a Bladesmith now. Oh, that's frustrating. Connect, so that's 100% game because Fini's not going to have enough health to win this game. Survives with 2, but doesn't matter. Skull's going to finish off, and that's going to be a good game. Oh, so close. Again, it was a 50-50 read. I'm just trying to think if Fini could win the end game if I Dragon Sent it to Kyogre and Scalded to Groudon. If the Kyogre protected and Groudon knocked out the Ray. That's like the only thing I'm trying to figure out. Because like you imagine Scald after that. Here's the thing, Kyogre doesn't have to weather, but this Fini's not Spadef, so I feel like Kyogre should beat me in 1v1. Because Scald from Fini's not doing anything. It's like doing 10% probably. So I just don't know if Fini would have enough firepower. I guess I had to go for Dragon Send into Kyogre and Scald the Groudon. My opponent thinking one step ahead. But really nicely played from my opponent. But that's gonna be our first loss with this team. But no shame in it. It was a really good battle. I'm trying to figure out maybe if there were other plays that could accomplish like that Protect King. That Protect King changed the game. Because if I knocked out the King earlier, like we would have had so much momentum. Maybe another play would have been to protect Gastrodon, sack, go into Ray. I would have had to read. Maybe I would. I'm trying to think. What if I went into Ray, protected Gastrodon? My opponent goes for the Skull. I just don't get the Scald play. The Scald play makes no sense because Gastrodon redirects that Scald anyway. I just don't get why you went Ice Beam, but yeah, if I ice, if that happened, then what? I Dragon Sent the Kyogre since the Kyogre's chipped, and then Earth Power because you're forced to target down the Ray. I think at least I would have more tools then. But again, I thought my opponent would try to cover something with an Ice Beam switch. Specifically, I think it would be the Fini slot. So maybe I didn't have a shot, but. Well, my opponent went for the Ice Beam there. Since my opponent went for the Scald, that changed the game. But it came down to the last turn. My opponent got the better end of me. That's pretty much all I have to say. But good game to my opponent. Hope everyone enjoyed today's episode of VGC 2019 Baek Battles. If you do enjoy, please leave a like down below, show support, as well as you can check out the rest of my stuff down below in the description, such as my social media, the size of my channel, and all that other good stuff will be linked down below in the description. As well as if you do want to try out this team, there is a QR code of this team down below in the description as well. If you want to go an extra mile, there is my Patreon page as well as my Twitch channel, which I highly recommend go checking it out down below. But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, people. Until we battle again, I'll catch you all later.